Yes, I think he's just doing what he has to do. He's not, like you say, run the middle of the racetrack, not taking any chances around lap cars. He's got, 3 or 4 second lead now that he can play with.
See Kevin Harvick right there in the 29 car moving over for Jeff Gordon. He knows he's not in competition. Harvick's 5 laps down right now, having a horrible night. How much this night was over?
How much do you let yourself think about the fact that something has happened to him the last 5 consecutive times he's been here? Somehow, something has happened even in the late laps to keep him from finishing. In fact, he hasn't won here since 1999.
I bet he's thinking about all the times that he did win here, and that's what he's getting ready to do tonight. I bet he doesn't even think about those races where he fell out of the race. He's thinking positive thoughts right now.
Here's a battle for third spot. Clint Boyer trying to hold on to third position. Ryan Newman's car now moving in. Oh, tough luck here. The 43 car slowing down for Bobby Labarna.
Oh, man, that's too bad. Had a great run going.
As is the 66, Jeff Green. And we got a car spinning up in turn 4. That's Johnny Sauter. And, boy, this could tighten things up quite a bit here as caution comes out for the 14th time with just 13 laps to go.
And Jeff Gordon's thinking, I cannot believe this. I got such a big lead. And now I got to race my brains out again. And Kyle Busch is loving this part.
How about Jimmy Johnson? He's got to be loving it, too, because now Jimmy Johnson up to 7th spot. And he'll get a chance to be able to make a charge here in the final 5 or 6 laps.
Oh, man, right now we're showing 12 laps to go. And you know the tensions are high with these drivers. They're thinking, I got another shot, baby. I'm ready for it now.
They got enough fuel. Most of them have enough fuel to go all the way here. It's going to be interesting to see if they come down and get tired.
20 cars in the lead lap. How about the guys that are back there on the back end of the lead lap?
Those guys are coming. I'm just wondering what these leaders are going to do.
Boy, this is a tough call right now with...
This is why I like standing up here on top of the grandstand talking about it, not on the pit box.
Show you Johnny Sauter's spin here up in turn 4. Let's see what happened to Johnny. Now watch, it's in progress. He's already spinning, and watch him come down across the racetrack.
Well, it looks like he just lost it all by himself. There's nobody in front of him, nobody behind him. Just a classic case of turn 4 eating up another car. But Johnny didn't tear the car up too bad. A little dent in the right front there.
Was there something coming out of the 66 car that just began to slow? It was smoking. Let's see, there's some smoke out of that car.
Something's covering up our camera lens right here, some fluid. You see as it cleans itself off. There's definitely fluid on the racetrack.
Yeah,
coming out of that 66.
Well, that's a big stream of fluid coming out of the 66 car. And the 70 car, Johnny Sauter, absolutely could have got into that and caused that accident because there was no cars around him to aerodynamically cause him to spin out. Could have been the fluid.
And by the way, these are teammates 66 and 70. Now, what about what's the thinking on the 24 car? Let's check in where Jamie is caught up with the crew chief for Jeff Gordon and Steve Letarte.
Yes, and the whole team was like, oh no, when the caution came out. So Steve, as a crew chief now, these final laps, what do you do?
Hope your stuff's better than the guy behind you. We're going to stay out, stick with it. Our goal's 500 miles. I'd like to win, but 500 miles is our #1 goal. We're in it for the big picture.
You told me today you guys would be happy running top 15 right now. Do you feel like you guys are capable of finishing this thing and getting to victory lane?
I absolutely think we're capable. Jeff's a remarkable talent. He's really carried us all year long. He's carried us again tonight. We haven't had the best pit stops. I don't know if I made the best pit calls, but hopefully this will be a good one. We'll stay out. Hopefully some of them guys back in the pack will stay out with us. We'll see what happens.
All right, guys, there it is. Doc, he's going to stay out and hope to visit victory lane for the 81st time in his career.
Yeah, look at the windshield, the 24 car. Looks like oil or something on the windshield. Now we're being told there is oil around the racetrack, so they're going to take a little bit to clean this up. They're already dumping down some oil dry way down in turn 1. But that windshield, I mean, how bad is that as far as the visibility is concerned for a driver?
Well, that's not good whatsoever. I mean, the visibility is something you got to have at a restart when you got to drive your brains out.
The lighting here is excellent at Lowe's Motor Speedway, but it's reflective lighting. And, of course, you wonder with the oil in the windshield how much of that lighting will reflect off the oil and how much it will be a problem for the driver.
It's going to be a little bit of a problem because when we heard Steve Letarte say the 24 car's not coming down pit road, so he's got what he's got. Here's the problem with that decision. Poor, the guy leading the race you think is in the best position, but if you don't pit and you stay out, every single car behind you can come in and you're just a sitting duck. So that's the chance you take.
18 car was giving the 11 a push. And they're going to have to clean the whole racetrack, so they're going to stop them. Here comes the 11 down pit road. And pit road, the red lights flashing, pit road was closed. Here comes Denny Hamlin, though, down anyway.
He could have been out of fuel. He got some help from his from his teammate there, the 18 of J.J. Yaley, and it comes down pit road with it close. He may have been out of fuel. He'll have to get in here and get some regardless of whether it's open or not.
Yeah, here's Yaley pushing him here. Yeah, Hamlin was being shown in 14th position.
Actually, they're not even putting fuel in the car. I don't know what kind of problem they have here. They're looking up under the left side.
Keep jacking it up.
Dave?
Yeah, sounds like transmission. What we were talking earlier, now the red flag comes out as you hear Mike Ford instructing his crew not allowed to work on the car during the red. But yeah, remember earlier second gear was an issue, getting it into second gear, and now it appears the transmission giving him trouble again.
That's a tough break.
Yeah,
10 laps from the end.
Well, he was in, you would think he's at least in, some type of gear. And he got pushed around the racetrack with the 18 car, so.
See NASCAR making these crew members get away from the car. Cannot work on the car under a red flag condition. All the cars are stopped out here on the racetrack.
His engine's been running for almost 500 miles right now. They shut him off.
Let's listen into Jeff Gordon's radio.
That stuff blown off, scrubbed off, whatever they got to do to get it right. Not like last on that Busch race.
He's looking for a clean racetrack on this restart. He really wants them to clean it up real good. Sounded like he had some problems watching the Busch Series race last night. Track was pretty dirty in 3 and 4, and he doesn't want to have to contend with that.
Well, we had a incident with the 66 car losing an axle and got a bunch of rear end grease all over 3 and 4. They red flagged the Busch race, put all this speedy dry down, go back with the blowers and clean it off. They did a fairly good job, but it still leaves a little bit of residue.
Last night, that residue at the top of the track took the groove away from Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he was coming, and because of that, he didn't get a chance to possibly to win that race. Under a red flag here because of oil coming out of the 66 car. Cars are parked. We have 10 laps to go. Back with more after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. How about a tough night for some of the chase contenders? Right off the bat, Kevin Harvick had issues. Had a left side tire go down. Had to make 2 pit stops to find out which one it was. That cost him 3 laps. He now sits back in 33rd position. Matt Kenseth has a right rear issue with the 17 car. Comes around, pirouettes down through the grass, and will come back up and just tap the wall there and damage the right side. Trouble on pit road for the 2-time Cup champion trying to lead. Contact for Tony Stewart with Menard, and contact there again, the 9 car of KCK. Also contact on pit road with the 2 car. Mark Martin coming in, Kurt Busch trying to come out, damage on the right front fender. How about the 5-time Lowe's Motor Speedway winner, Jimmy Johnson, spinning up in the 48 car and damaged that right rear. Had to come down and get it taped off. And most recently, the 11 car having transmission troubles. Denny Hamlin getting an assist down there from the 18 car, J.J. Yaley, to get him on the pit road. Guys, a lot of the chase contenders having trouble tonight, and now with 10 laps to go, it looks like Jeff Gordon may be able to finally hold on and finish one here at this racetrack. But that 5 car is awfully tough, and some others up there, the 07, are going to be pretty stout.
No,
as
man,
well.
it's going to be a 10-lap shootout, Jerry. You talk about tension. I mean, I'm looking at 4 cars out there right now that I got a legitimate shot to win this thing. Jeff Burton in the 5th position. He's going to drive hard too, but man, this end is where the tension gets high, Andy. This is where, as a driver, I'm all pumped up. I'm wide open. I'm thinking I can win this thing.
Jeff Gordon looks pretty good sitting out in front, and he's had a good lead, and everything's been going his way, but he's still got a little meat on the bone. We got a few laps to go here, and these are going to be real tension-filled laps because they've put a lot of speedy dry on the racetrack. These guys, where Jeff Gordon's been running that low line, it's going to be a little dirty down there, and I think that Kyle Busch, with that high line he's been running, he's thinking maybe he's got an advantage right here.
What about the 07 car, Clint Boyer? Jerry, he's been liking the top lane a lot. He's been running the top lane, but for the guys like Andy said that love that bottom, they might have to change groups.
Now, what about the fact that Rick Hendrick owns both the 24 and the 5 car, and also, by the way, the 48 car? But Rick Hendrick talking to Jeff Gordon about the 5 car, who's awfully good back behind him.
Jeff, you got a copy, bud? 10-4. Okay, I told him not to wreck you and be careful. You saw he had you, you let him go. So don't be smart. Look at the big picture and let's finish this thing.
That's a very wise owner because he understands he's got at least 2 cars, maybe 3 cars in contention, not only for this race, but for a championship.
Okay, Rusty, you're leading the race, or you're leading the points, you're leading the race. You've got a guy hungry behind you without much to lose. What are you going to do?
I'm going to choke him down on the restart and come to the gears as hard as I can and try to get a couple car lengths on him, getting into turn 1 so he can't get on my bumper and make me loose. I got to get away from him.
If he does, he gets under you, what are you going to do? How hard are you going to race him?
Well, I'm going to have to race him pretty hard, but I'm not going to take myself out. But you know what? At this track here at Lowe's, Andy, that's a great question. It's hard to keep him doing that.
And remember, Kyle Busch is not going to be a teammate much longer. He's going to a different team, so how much do you want to play the team cooperation here?
Well, I think that's why Rick Hendrick came on the radio, because he knows that Kyle Busch is hungry and he's going to do whatever it takes for him to get a win for his team.
Yeah, for Rick Hendrick to come along and say, please don't wreck us, that's a pretty bold statement. You know?
Look at these guys. They said, okay, may the best man win.
And we got the boss in our pits here. Let's see what's going on here. Let's go down to the pit studio with Susie Colbert and Brent Doherty. Guys?
You know, I'm going to say for strategy, you have to give an A+ to Steve Letarte, Jeff Gordon's crew chief. Just think of last week, all the patience, sitting, waiting, and then finally leading the last third of the last lap to win it. And then the same thing today. They haven't even finished a race here in 3 years. So the strategy was, let's just make 500 miles. So put the goals a little bit low, not shoot for too much, and then look where he sits.
Oh, Susie, all I can say is the spring race at Talladega, Kyle Busch didn't have any drafting partners. He said his Hendrick teammate left him out on the dryer or on the line to drive by himself. Sitting second. I don't care what Rick Hendrick told that young man. He is going to get all over Jeff Gordon's bumper, and I'm going to tell you, we are going to have a shootout when this thing goes green. I can't wait. Oh, my goodness, this is going to be great.
You know, in our countdown show, we made such a big deal over Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson being teammates and friends, and, well, they're both going for the title here. How much could that get in the way? And now you're throwing Kyle Busch in the mix, too.
I'm sorry, that was Daytona in July. I said Talladega. Daytona in July. Kyle Busch is in the mix, and like I said, this is going to be a shootout.
Would you almost look at it for him right now like almost nothing to lose? This is his last run with this team.
He has absolutely nothing to lose. Next year he's in a different uniform, a different team, and he leaves all this behind. But also let's talk about Jimmy Johnson, he has recovered, come all the way back to 6th position from roughly 28, 29th. He has done a stellar job getting back into this race. And who knows, he could get a good run on this green flag and get up right back up, get on the outside, and have a good chance as well of winning this race.
All right, let's not leave Clint Boyer out of this mix either in the 07, sitting there in third. Yeah. Let's go over to Dave.
And Susie right now catching up with the highest running Richard Childress Racing crew chief right now. Had the advantage earlier, Gil. Where did the car go?
Well, I mean, this set of tires right here has just been a little bit tight right there. So after we cool off right here, I think it's going to be good. I mean, Clint's done a great job with the Jack Daniels Chevy tonight. We've put ourselves in a position to win this thing, or at least have a really excellent position to finish right here. So looking forward to the end of this thing, and looks like we're getting ready to go. They got her cleaned up. I think we'll be all right.
Help me understand a little bit too, because he was reporting the car to be a little bit tight in the short run. Is that maybe okay for him?
I think it's going to be, because everybody's going to lay some laps down right here. You're going to see some qualifying laps here for about 8 laps. So if it's a little bit tight, it's probably going to be a good thing.
Good luck, Doc.
Yeah, Clint Boyer, how good has this kid been? First time he's ever been in a chase. He won his first race in New Hampshire, second in Kansas, and boy, is this young man third in the points, trying to hang on and maybe be the beneficiary. Now, we heard Rick Hendrick talking about to the 24 car to Jeff Gordon. Here's what Rick Hendrick had to say to Kyle Busch.
Kyle, you got a copy, Kyle? Yo. Jeff says if you look like you got him, he'll let you go. You guys just be smart, okay? Sounds good. No wrecks, okay? I've had 2 already that were uncalled for. 10-4, buddy. Be smart.
Well, that's a pretty good advice right there out of Rick Hendrick, you know. You notice he snuck right there at the very end and said, no wrecks. He didn't say it at the top. He kind of eased that one in, and
he says, I hear you, but I'm going for the win.
Yeah, Rick's a fantastic guy down there coaching his drivers along, and this has got to be a very nervous time for Rick Hendrick, Jerry.
I can remember once at Martinsville years ago when all 3 of his cars wrecked each other in the backstretch at Martinsville. I've never seen him so angry. The 11 car that came on the pit road, remember, had the transmission issues. It wouldn't let him work on under the red flag. He has now pushed him back out. He is under power. And Denny Hamlin was being shown in 14th position. Remember, there are 20 cars on the lead lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the final car on the lead lap. So the worst he can come out is 20th when we go back to restart.
Man, they got a mess out there going into turn 1. A lot of oil dry in the track. The blowers are trying to get it off of there. And then on the exit of turn 4 on the bottom, there's a lot of oil dry down there too. You can see the residue in the track still. NASCAR is doing a good job, doing the best they can right now. And Gordon is very, very concerned about having a clean racetrack. That's what's on Jeff Gordon's mind right now. He wants to get out there. But the good thing Jeff's got, he's got the clean racetrack in front of him. Don't have to race anybody.
The only disadvantage to that is if the racetrack is not cleaned off good enough, the first one to know is going to be Jeff Gordon because he's going to be the first one in there.
Well, you're full of good news, aren't you?